It's time to kick things off. It's Oleg Taktarov against Ryushi Yanagisawa. Making his way to the ring, former UFC tournament champion, the Russian bear Oleg Taktarov. And John, just 27 years of age, a submission specialist who has never been submitted.
It's going to be very, very difficult to catch Taktarov in any type of submission hold. He holds a background in judo as well as sambo, so well-versed in submissions.
His opponent, Ryushi Yanagisawa, just 23 years of age, from Japan, has gone 2-1 in his last 3 fights and is coming off a loss in Pancrase to Guy Metzger via knockout at Truth 4, which took place in April of this year.
Imagine this fight to be a submission fight, as he has 7 submissions to his credit.
Oleg Taktarov's 27, 6 feet tall, 210 pounds, with a record of 9-2-1.
赤コーナー191センチ、98キロ、ランキング7位、柳沢
Ryushi Yanagisawa is 23, 6'3", 230 pounds, with a record of 8-9-1. Oleg Taktarov making his Pancrase debut. Yanagisawa holds a win over Vernon Tiger White at Truth 3. So a look at the Pancrase organization here on the Fight Network, a company that was formed in September of 1993. Really, the only other mixed martial arts-esque organization that precedes it was Shudo, formed in 1985 by pro wrestler Satoru Sayama, who was well known as Tiger Mask. So Yanagisawa, is he biting off more than he can chew here, John, against a young Russian bear, Oleg Taktarov?
Well, you have to look at the size difference, and Yanagisawa has the size advantage over Taktarov, and like I said before, he well-versed in submissions.
And as John brought up at the beginning of the show, certain rules endemic to Pancrase: no closed fists, no gloves as well. It's bare-knuckle fighting, but only palm strikes are allowed when punching. And it's interesting, with the 5 points that each fighter is given, a lot of strategy, a lot of methodology comes into play here. You don't want to have your opponent in trouble along the ropes, because he can simply reach out and cause you to, well, lose out on a submission attempt, although he is also deducted a point. So it's a very interesting game of human chess. Going through the feeling out process here early in this round, and again, in Pancrase, non-title fights, 1 15-minute round, single leg pickup by Taktarov.
Now, Yanagisawa does not want to play footsies with a sambo expert like Taktarov.
Bring up a very good point. Taktarov now.
Kimura attempt right there. He
maybe going for the armbar, and into full mount easily by Taktarov.
A lot of options here for Taktarov.
But of course, look where they are in proximity. They are close to the rope, so even if he goes here now, looks like he's going for an entangled arm lock or maybe a Kimura, but very close to the ropes, and all Yanagisawa has to do is reach out either with his hands, which are now being restricted by Taktarov, or his legs, and if he gets the rope, he'll get the break. Now it's a scarf hold by Taktarov.
Now what he can do here is he can take Yanagisawa's arm and tuck it between his legs and go for some sort of a shoulder lock or a neck crank. I think that's what he's attempting right now.
Good job, John, is exactly looking to put the squeeze on Yanagisawa. Of course, here in Japan, you can almost hear a pin drop. The audience very dedicated to the sport, but very respectful of the two fighters. And a lot of people think, well, they're not cheering, they're not screaming, they're not yelling, but they are very educated and follow every single nuance of the sport. And now it's Yanagisawa looking to turn the tables on Taktarov, looking for that ankle pick, but look at Taktarov, just very, very tactical.
Now
in everything he does.
Arm lock coming up right here.
Misses, slips out, and gives up position to Yanagisawa in the butterfly guard. Working the can opener momentarily is Yanagisawa. So working that neck crank.
It's difficult to get a can opener when the guy's legs are open, so.
Yeah, and it was Mark Kerr that really seemed to popularize the can opener in the early days of the UFC. Taktarov trying to sit up now as the overhooks on Yanagisawa.
It really is a chess match.
And there you see the referee step right in. If there is a lack of action or passivity, if you will, he will bring the fighters back up to their feet to try to get them to engage, and definitely helps to speed up the proceedings a bit. Although, again, when on the ground, and especially with a Sambo specialist like Taktarov, you can see many works of art being portrayed here. But Yanagisawa looking to go downstairs, wants to chop down the Russian bear, Oleg Taktarov. They're in a neck clinch now. Looking to neck grapple. Nice knee delivered by Yanagisawa. So really, you mentioned it, John, and as we did at the beginning of the show, that the chess match really on display here in Pancrase.
Yanagisawa should try to keep this fight standing. Clearly, Taktarov more dominant on the ground.
Taktarov coming off a appearance at UFC Ultimate 95 in December of last year. In the opening round, he defeated Dave Beneteau via submission. In the semifinal, was victorious over the king of the street, Marco Ruas. And in the final, lost to Dan Severn via decision. Now, Yanagisawa opening up with those palm strikes and really beginning to take it to Taktarov. Scoring some points with those blows.
He's got to get out of the grappling situation with Taktarov, and Taktarov just taking over.
And with those palm strikes managing to cut Taktarov. As you can see, over his right eye on the forehead, but Taktarov really schooling him on the ground so far. You're right, just having his way with Yanagisawa, full mount now.
There are a number of options right here. The arm lock, the top triangle.
Looks like he's positioning himself to go for that arm bar. Just has to switch his hips over from the full mount to side control, and Yanagisawa really unable to do much from this position.
It's interesting because Taktarov was in full mount, opted for the second time to get out of mount.
Again, working that scarf hold, now cranking on the neck is Oleg Taktarov. Yanagisawa trying to move his record to 500. Came in with an 8-9-1 record, 1 knockout, 7 submissions. Taktarov holds a very good record of 9-2-1 with 1 knockout, 7 submissions. So both of them well versed in the submission game. Not so much in terms of the knockout power. Each of them only with 1 KO. Again, just an easy transition to the mount by Oleg Taktarov. Both of them still have their 5 points. As the referee calls for the break, we'll take a quick break. Taktarov versus Yanagisawa continues right after this. Welcome back to Nippon Budokan in Tokyo, Japan. The Fight Network's coverage of Pancrase Truth 5. May 16th, 1996. You're watching Oleg Taktarov in the black trunks and Ryushi Yanagisawa in the yellow. And so far, prior to the break, John, a real technical chess match. We saw Taktarov school Yanagisawa on the ground, able to pass guard, go to full mount, side control, and yet unable to finish the young Japanese fighter. And in the stand-up, it appears that Yanagisawa seems to be getting the better of the Russian bear.
Yanagisawa is finding a home for that right cut kick there on Taktarov, so he should keep this fight standing and try to chop Taktarov down.
Again, each fighter still has 5 points. No points have been deducted as of yet. Yanagisawa testing the waters with that high roundhouse kick, and there's a nice shot takedown by Oleg Taktarov. And it's just amazing to me how little ground defense Yanagisawa has. But again, this being 1996, the game of mixed martial arts continues to evolve. And now let's see from side control right into full mount.
Now the armbar is right there.
Definitely has his sights set on that left arm.
He just has to swing the leg over his head.
Now Yanagisawa trying to scramble.
He's having a difficult time. If he makes a frame with his hands and he can kick his right leg all the way over, lay back and extend his hips, he should have the armbar.
Taktarov working the can opener momentarily. They're very close to the ropes. And again, during a submission attempt, Yanagisawa does have the option of trying to reach for the ropes to get that break, but he'll also have a point deduction. Head and arm again by Taktarov.
Really favoring that scarf hold. I think he should just go to side control and try the Americana or the key lock.
Yanagisawa doing a good job of trying to turn the tables here. Turns into Taktarov. They're back on their feet, and this is where Yanagisawa's had his most success. Another inside cut kick. Using the left leg, again attacking the lead leg of Taktarov. Really, no response for Taktarov. He really wants to have this fight stay on the ground. A rather sloppy shoot there by Taktarov. Good sprawl by Yanagisawa, and Yanagisawa scoots away. Body kick by Yanagisawa, back to the clinch. Yanagisawa pushes Taktarov down to the canvas. Taktarov working from the butterfly guard.
Yanagisawa should just back up from this position. I don't think he wants to be on the ground with Taktarov.
We're down to our last remaining minutes of this fight again. Non-title bouts, 1 15-minute round. Saw Yanagisawa deliver a headbutt to the breadbasket of Taktarov. Trying his best to do whatever he can. Even working the body a little bit with those short shots.
Now a Kimura, if you look, if Taktarov sits up, traps the arm, he has a Kimura available to him.
Referee again calls for the break. And it appears Taktarov may be favoring that right leg of his a bit. Definitely showing the wear and tear of these shots from Yanagisawa, working the kicks, and now the palm strikes again. The only legal punches in Pancrase are the open hand strikes. No close fists allowed, and those of you that are familiar with other forms of mixed martial arts, you'll note that they are not wearing 4-ounce gloves. And a legal choke there by Oleg Taktarov, going for a choke. You heard the referee right away, not that kind of choke, and he is giving a red card, which means a point is being deducted. So right now, it appears that Yanagisawa is on his way to victory here, John, because Taktarov has to do something to make sure he either finishes the fight or gets Yanagisawa in trouble enough that he goes for a couple of rope breaks, because it's 5-4 right now in favor of Yanagisawa.
Well, desperate times call for desperate measures. He's got to take the fight to the ground and finish with a submission. Clearly, he has the submission skills to take out Yanagisawa.
Now, it's interesting, he was incredulous at the call, and to be honest with you, what kind of an illegal choke did he attempt? He was down there momentarily. It was a split second before the referee came to the realization that it was an illegal choke. So Taktarov is down by a point. And not really showing the intensity I think he would like to show. He's very adamant about going for the takedown. And even though, again, as we've said over and over, he's schooling Yanagisawa on the ground, but really needs to finish him.
It's surprising because Yanagisawa has those boots on. Taktarov is a Sambo guy, which is a ton of leg locks. So you have to expect that he knows the submissions, and why he isn't going for them is beyond me.
He could fall back here into an Achilles tendon hold, an ankle lock of some kind. Yanagisawa defending well, and there is the bell, and he was doing just that at the bell. So Yanagisawa ruins Oleg Taktarov's Pancrase debut as we take a look at the action.
And Taktarov going for some sort of leg submission there. Yet Yanagisawa just throwing some head kicks, open hand strikes to the head to try to confuse Taktarov. He has the advantage here, going for a high head kick. And Taktarov wanted none of it, tried to take the fight to the ground where he was dominating.
So in our opening bout of the Fight Network's coverage of Pancrase Truth 5, it's Ryushi Yanagisawa defeating Oleg Taktarov 5-4. When we come back, one of the co-founders of Pancrase will be in action.
これより第7試合20分一本勝負を行います。青コーナー